Okay, the date today is October 13th, 1973. The place is the foothills of Mount Fuji, and I'm in Japan now. And our whole 3-4 BLT is landed here, and we set up our own CP and carry on the regular training what we're supposed to be doing. We're here for 6 weeks for cold weather training. And after this, we're going 2 weeks to Korea for more colder cold weather training. And we're here in Quonset huts, those tin buildings. All last night and the other night it rained here. We've been here on 4 days so far. And all the soil around here is all volcanic. We're at the slope of the hill at the foot of the mountain. I haven't seen the full mountain yet, Mount Fuji, because it's been so foggy and raining around here. And as soon as in the 6 weeks, if it does clear up, I hope to get a good shot of it, either in the morning or evening with the sunset shining on it. There's no snow on there, and this area is supposed to be all snowed in, but I guess we're going to wait 6 weeks for it to snow, and if we catch it or not, well, that was considered our cold weather training, because really stateside cold weather training is worse than this. You sleep in tents and shelter halves. Over here we got Quonset nuts, so it's kind of easy over here. We left Philippines, Longopo City. Stationed there is a base called Mao Camp, and that's where we were stationed. We stayed in Quonset Nut there too, but it was a little nicer on the foot of the hills. And we stayed there around 7 days, had Liberty every night, and went out. And we really didn't do nothing there. We were just waiting to be shipped over here. Took trucks down and buses to the airport, the airfield, and Clark Airfield. And then we took a C-130, an airplane. It's a huge airplane, something like a C-5 Galaxy, but it's miniaturized, it's small, and the back opens up. And we put 2 Jeeps, 2 trailers in there, and along the sides is chairs, and you sit in there. We stayed in there for 7.5 hours, just cramped in that little spot. You couldn't stand up or move. If we went to the bathroom or anything you did, you brought that off with you in a plastic bag. And there's only 2 windows in there, and you just look inside there, just look at everybody, and everybody sleep. It was a pretty boring ride. We finally landed in Japan. I forgot the name of the airport. We landed in there, and we got shipped out here that night. And we've been here. We set up our office, and we're carrying on a regular office work and training what we're supposed to be doing. Okay, on this tape I might be jumping around because I don't have no list. I'm just thinking whatever comes to my mind I'm thinking about talking about. And for the last 2 weeks I've had a bad cold. I guess you'd say bronchitis again. Every winter I guess I get or so. And I've been taking, cough syrup and stuff, but that's just the way it goes. And I got a field jacket and a raincoat, but that still don't help. And I guess it's the virus that caught around. I caught it on ship, and after that, I've had it ever since I left. Yesterday, the 12th, I received Mom's letter, the big letter with the yellow envelope in there, and with the master plans of the church. And I really like that idea. I think it's really great, and I see they really got a mind to build and go forward. And I notice Mom and Dad, both of you are in committees on here, and I think that's really good to get active in there because be doing something. And I see they got a lot of new people. Some faces I don't even see. And Brother Combs, I see him in his elementary school is still going on. And I think this the master plan is really nice. I can't actually recall where it's located, but it says West Lane North, and I can imagine the West Lane out there somewhere, and nobody to bother us out in the boondies or somewhere. Looks like a good plan if they follow it. If they don't, which I know they won't, they'll change around. Well, at least it's better than nothing. And I can see Clyde J. Haney Memorial Chapel in there, and I'm just thinking about my little buggy. When as soon as I get back, I want to finish the body part and upholstery the seats and get the wheels from the Haney and put it back together. And I hope nobody else, Wayne Piters or nobody else, don't go over there and get carried away and try to finish it off, because I feel I started it, I want to finish it, and say I did it by myself, and just a little treat, or one thing at least I could say I did, had my part in it. And I really want to finish that myself, and hope when they do finish the building, my cart will be finished and I could put it in there, which Brother Kenneth Haney wants. I know last time, a couple letters ago, Job, or somebody mentioned Cherokee Road was, they paved Cherokee Road. Well, if they done that, I'm sure that's the best thing ever happened to Stockton, I could say, because I know I rode buku miles on my bicycle on that road, and I used to go back and forth every day, and I think that's really nice. But of course, if they're moving out to West Lane, I'm sure they got a nicer area out there. As far as me coming home, my rotation date here, RTD here, is June the 9th, and when I rotate, I go back. I'll be stationed back to Pendleton. I'll either come off at Travelers or Norton Air Force Base down there in Los Angeles. Either one, I don't know yet, but I will tell you ahead because I get my orders 3 months before I go home. I'll be stationed there for a while. If I get leave on my way, I don't know. I'm going to try to get a 5-day extension and stop in Hawaii and see what's going on there, and try to figure out my, later on in the future if I'm going to work with David or not, and see the odds and ends. I read all your letters, and they say, it's kind of hard. David having kind of hard, but yet it's good work. And I was working for the Lord building it. But you also got to figure on some financial parts. I mean, if you ain't making it, you just be hard to get along. And especially for me, just starting out, if I'm going to start out something kind of bad like that, I'm sure I can get a better deal in California somewhere with the 2 contractors I know. Okay, July 31st is my day I'm supposed to get out of the Marine Corps. Okay. From that day, July 31st to June the 9th, the day I get back, is less than 60 days. So most likely, they're supposed to discharge me around a week after I get back. So it'd be around June the 15th or so. I don't know if I'll make graduation or not at the Bible school. I wish I could. I don't know exactly. I forgot when they have their graduation. But I guess I missed the whole year. And I really, enjoy being around there, and of course that's, just our life, just being right there. It's the center of life, right around there, the church and the Bible school, I could say. I also was thinking about if I go back, I'm going to go down Oceanside for a while just to get my fireplace straightened out, and then come back up to Stockton in order to keep me, still working around the church or something to do, and yet have a job, or I might be going Delta or UOP, or some school around there. I was thinking about either I was going to try to be for the next year either the high school boys PE teacher, or just be a maintenance man around the Bible school and the church, and or maybe just a Bible school. I don't know actually what the facility is now. I know before it was pretty bad, and Leo always had a hard time getting around, had to do everything himself, and I feel, if they really needed somebody, and if I could spare the time, I'd just do it free on hand. Oh yeah, I also heard that Abel got another job at Payless. Seemed like he just jump around, get a job anywhere he wants. Well, that's pretty good if you can get around like that, because I know a lot of the people have a hard time to get jobs, and I don't know, I'm going to try to get one somewhere, hoping in some kind of something, outdoor construction or something active, not in a building. And of course, anytime I can just go back to Delta College, the painting, and my teacher will line up about 5 jobs a week for me, painting jobs or painting houses, where I can, I'm sure, go back to Henry Walters or that plumber, or another contractor that I met on West Side, north side of town. Other than that, as far as my fireplace going, they sent a nice 2 blueprints, like I told you before, 2 blueprints of my fireplace. Their artists put it together from my drawings, and everything came out perfect, just right, like I like it. A few things they didn't put it in there, and I don't know if they forgot or not, but I made corrections, which gave me 2 copy, and I drew all over it, really neat. And I also did a rough out a handwritten letter, and then I had one of the guys in the office type it out for me. He typed it out business type, really nice, and I sent that, so I'm waiting for word from that. And of course, every time I get a letter from there, I told the postman, I said, don't even hold it or play games with me, because other males, some males sometimes, they look at it from a girl or somebody, or even from carrying them to girls or mom or somebody. They think it's from somebody else, and they make me do push-ups, just for the fun of it, and I have to do them, but I don't mind that. I told him, when I get that mail, I said, no fooling around. I said, that's business and that's confidential. I said, you dare fool around with that. I said, you better hang it up. And so they know I'm not fooling around, and I showed them my plans, and they kind of know my idea, and they give me all kind of hints and here and there, ideas how I can improve it, or what they think about it, and what they don't like, or what they like. And I don't mind asking their opinion, because I know none of them come near to it or could think something up like that. And I also got around 4 or 5 other ideas in my mind I've been thinking up over here. And when I go back, I'm sure one of them is really good, and I'm gonna try to put it to work. Go see a couple companies in Stockton itself and see if I can put it together. Just something I'm thinking anyway. Okay. Anyway, they're doing all right, and I'm paying my $50 a month still yet on my payments, and sometimes I double it so I won't get stuck the next month. And as far as my fireplace, so far it's going all right, and I hope nothing goes wrong. We're going to spend our next 8 weeks is going to be in Japan and Korea, and so after that we're going directly back to Longapo City, Philippines. We are going to spend a month there for Christmas. Christmas there, they celebrate Christmas just like we do in stateside. They cut down trees and put gifts around there, and they used to always blow up firecrackers. But now Philippines Island is under the martial law, and no firearms at all are permitted. Any fireworks, carrying on any knives, guns. Only the Filipino Marines, Filipino police, and security guards. They are really strict. I mean, it's unbelievable. They kill people on the spot, and to a person to die over there is nothing. It's it's just like a game. We were walking down the street, and outside of this one bar, they just threw them out. There was 2 girls, Filipino girls. I don't know if they're kind of young or old, probably prostitutes, and they were shot right there. In the Philippine Marines all had their shotguns. They had sawed-off shotguns, but at the end, it's not like a butt of a rifle. There's no stock to it. Rather, it's a pistol grip, and they're word guns. And anybody fooling around, going against their law or the Filipino martial law or whatever, is just better stand by. They got curfew 12 o'clock to 4:30 in the morning. You don't dare walk on the street. If you're a military person and you happen to be walking on the street or got kicked out of a hotel or someplace, and you just happen to be out there and you want to go back, you contact the shore patrol or the MPs or anybody and tell them to escort you or give you a ride to the main gate, because you don't dare walk, because it's not safe. Other than that, the people, my view of the Filipino people in Longapo, of course, not the best city. It's kind of like the slumber cities of the Philippines. I haven't been to Manila yet. When I go back, I'm going to go there, take pictures of different colleges, universities, chapels, and churches and shrines. And they got a lot of places to see and things to do. And that is considered the modern part of Philippines. And Philippines as itself makes only two cars, have their own manufacturers. So they're not really up to date and stuff. I'd say like Japan is, but you can tell there's still a lot of help there, and President Marcos having a hard time, trying to control their people. They're pretty unstable, I guess you'd say. And as you walk down, say like from the main gate to the end of the street, and it splits up into other streets. It's called the main street. I don't know what it is, but we just call it Main Street, Longapo City. Between there and there, between both ends, you walking down the middle of the road, because they're cars, but they're not that many cars, but what as many or what few there is, they go slow. They don't go riding real fast, and the street's really wide, about 50 feet wide or so. But you walk down the middle of the street, because the side of the street, you walk along the side of the street on the sidewalks. There's girls standing, about 10, 15 girls standing in front of a bar or a hotel, and they grab you. They'll grab your shirt, or something. Say, "Come on, come with me upstairs." Good fun. And that's why you just don't walk along. There's a lot of pickpocketers, a lot of them. I had my watch and my little Insomedic camera. I had, from both ends of the street, I had around 15 guys ask me if they wanted to buy my watch, if I wanted to sell my watch and my camera. And I said no, and I finally got mad. After a while, you get used to it. You just ignore them. Just don't even pay attention. Just push them out of the way. And there's around maybe about 50 kids or so, little ones and women and men selling gum, chiclet, or I forgot how they call it in Filipino anyway. They're selling gum. They're trying to sell they have little cases they pop open, has rings and jewelry and stuff, and they try to sell you beads. They try to sell you barbecue pork on a bamboo stick. They try to sell you biko, cane, sugar cane, all kind of carvings, boats, anything they can make money off. Then just as you come out the main gate and you're going into the city, there's a river. It is so filthy. I mean, it's stinkier than a sewer. I mean, it's the worst smell I ever smelled. I mean, it is really bad. It's out of this world. And as you're going in the daytime, there's a couple kids, about maybe 10, 15 kids swimming in there. It's only around 6 feet deep, but it's pure dirty. I mean, it's where all their sewers all into this river, and there's no current at all. It's just barely moving, and it's still stagnant, and it's Filipino ground, so the military can't do nothing of it. But it's out right outside the gate, and it makes it kind of bad around that area. And these kids are out there swimming. They can dog pedal or float out there a long time. Or sometimes they're on a little board, and they say, "Peso, GI, give me peso. Come on, man." And if they're brothers, they go, "Hey, bro. Hey, brother, give me peso." And a peso is like a dollar to us. 6.75 pesos is a dollar. They got pesos, and for their cents, they use centavos. And for a dollar, you can get you get change in it outside the gate before you come in, and you can really get around. Do a lot with $1 changed into pesos. And so I never throw anything down there because you just throw the years accumulate. You know, they just depend on GIs throwing money down there. And imagine if nobody never threw nothing at all, maybe they'd get out of there or something. But it looks really pitiful and kind of sorry sight to see. Then in the nighttime, the streams are around at least 100 feet wide. From bank to bank, there's little boats like canoes side by side with a little platform in the center, and there's girls, at least 17 to 15 years old, nice looking Filipino girls. They're all standing there. All they got all white trousers. I don't know what kind of shoes. Most of them are barefooted. They all got their hair down. They got a band around their head, and they either have a blue or pink, like a blouse or shirt on them. And then they got a net, like a chicken wire or screen net, shaped like a cone, and they're over here. "Hey, GI, give me peso." Then within every other, or not even that, maybe every fifth boat, there's either an older person or even a man, a younger kid, a boy or somebody, kind of older, sitting in the bottom of that boat with a paddle, just trying to keep them all in line and just guarding them in case something happened, probably. Then in the water, swimming in between the boats and jumping all around, there's these little kids that are there in the morning. They're all day and night. And with the coins, the girls miss. If you throw and they miss with the net, those kids would dive down to the bottom and catch the coin. And as dirty it is, I don't know how they ever swim down there and pick it up, I tell you. And that's just one little incident. And there's so many things. There's this alligator in front of this one restaurant. He's around 7 feet long, and he don't move hardly, but he moves when you put food in there. And there's little kids standing right before the screen, the fence. When you look in there, they'll sell you a little baby chick for 1 peso. You give them a peso, they give you a chick, and you throw this chick in the water, and that alligator just open his teeth and just go, just chomp on it, just eat on it. And then another incident, my friend and I walked down the street, and this little boy go, "Hey, GI, Marine." He goes, they can tell Marines and Navy easy, because all the Navy's got beard and long hair, and all the Marines, bald-headed hat practically. And he goes, "Watch," and he had a baby chickie in his hand, and the head was sticking out. He put the head in his mouth, he bit the head off and threw the head on the ground, and then picked it up, and we looked, and there was no blood, but we said, "Oh, what do you do that for?" I like to fool around animals and, execute them and stuff, but, like that was kind of different, for a little kid to be doing that. And so, he started laughing. We said, "Hey, how come?" We look at the head, and it's bit off. And then all of a sudden, he opened his hand up, and he popped the chicken's head up, and it was a live chicken. He just bent his head down and put a dead head on top of it. And that really, we started busting up laughing. That was really, we thought it was a little Nice little trick he pulled on us. We gave him a peso for that one. There's kids always going around giving you shoe shine. I got tennis shoes, and still a kid still come up to me and said, "Hey, you want shoe shine?" I said, "Shoe shine your head." I said, "Get out of here." And I found one store that sold only one shop that had butterfly knives. They were not too good. I think the ones in the pawn shop in Stockton are better than those. I don't know why. They're rough. They're handmade, but they're too rough. They're not that good, so I can't buy any here. I do have a Filipino Chris, which is around 3 feet long. It's chrome plated. The blades are jagged. If you look up the word Chris, see what kind of sword it is. It's the original sword the Moros used of that Moro tribe, of that type of people. It's their main sword. And I got one back at Camp Hansen, and I'm going to have it registered when I get back, and I'm going to ship it home. And I'll let you folks know about it when I ship it home to take care of what you can do with it. But I do want to keep a souvenir. I'm also buying a big plaque that has the weapons of the Filipino Moro land, and it has a bunch of all the different little weapons and swords, but they're made out of tin. And it's just a nice little plaque, I think, to have, so I'm going to get around a couple of them. Mom, as far as your wall plaques of wood carving, maybe of a boy and a girl, or a separate like you wanted, there's a lot of them around here, and I'll try to get them for you free. All I ask later on, don't send it now, but later on I'll ask you to send my album, because I want to send it and just show my friends pictures and stuff. And plus I have a couple albums already. I'll be sending home already. I've been taking a lot of pictures with my Nicomat. I got just that 135mm lens, a regular. I got about 4 filters now, and I've been taking color slides most of my shots, and been reading up. I hope to, before I leave here, to get a telephoto lens, and later on when I get back to States or some other time, wide angle. I can only have 2 lenses, 1 still camera, 2 binoculars, and 1 movie camera. That's all you can bring back with you from overseas, because they got duty taxes and stuff. Okay, I've also got my watch I bought here, because when I was coming over from stateside in Hawaii in the airport, I left my watch in the head. And the moment I turned around, it was gone. So I bought another watch here. I got my cassette here. I got a little calculator. I don't know if you've seen pictures I'll send later on. Little IBM computer, which I use a lot, and my math's pretty bad, so I just use this in figuring out a lot of my problems in my monthly and weekly reports. And I've really used that a lot on ship, and a lot of people been using mine too, so I don't mind that. I got my own iron. Right now we're out here on this float. All we use is live off of our sea bag and our pack. That's all. It's not really that bad. You get used to it. It's just like living out of a suitcase, like I guess you'd say advantage of somebody going around living out of a suitcase. But the sea bag's worse, because it gets wet. Everything gets wet, mildew. You got to wash it. You got all your uniforms, your 2 pairs of boots and shoes and everything, and weighs pretty heavy. And that's mainly what we live out around here, so it's not too bad. Okay, kind of jumping the subject. Last night, a couple of us, after hours, were in the office. We got these oil heaters were burning inside all these Quonset huts. Our whole company, out of our whole battalion, is the only one that's not here. So only our headquarters is here, which consists of only around 15 people. So it's pretty quiet around here right now. Our company's coming in about a week, I guess, on ship, and then take them up on buses up to here. And that's when there'll be a lot of noise around here, but it's pretty peace and quiet right now. Anyway, they happen to look at our only paper source of information or world news. What we hear is this paper called Stars and Stripe, and it's for the whole Pacific Ocean out here, the Orient, for the military. And I read it once in a while. I just look off people, don't pay attention. But I noticed last night it said something about Israel, and some friends were reading it, and they were talking, boy, them Israels are really whipping them, but look at they get wiped out too. So I just thought, well, I guess this is my chance to, butt in and start talking, and we had a lot of discussions. I've had a lot of discussions, and sometimes, I like to talk, can't talk too much, can't even stop. I get carried away. We get excited. Some guys almost started a fight because they wanted to get a point over, and the other guy didn't believe it. That's these Marines over here. They think they know everything. Okay, anyway, we're talking about Israel, and I was telling them about that. It's predicted in the Bible, about this battle, and about Russia coming down, the Great Bear of the North coming down and fighting, and about Bible says, I believe a third of it will return, and about Israel is on the Lord's side, and his children, and several of the guys, they said, yes, I know that, I believe that too, and they heard about this war, and they heard this, they said this is part of the signs that the Lord's coming for his people. And it says, this one guy said, his friend said that his people are only Israelites, only people from Israel. And I said, so are you saying that unless you're not Israelite, then you're left out? I said, you're putting it, he's saying that there's no hope for nobody else, right? He goes, yeah. I said, no, but there is hope. I said, there's salvation. I said, you can be repentant, you be baptized in your sins and receive the Holy Ghost. And they just started going down the line and telling him. And, I wasn't scared, because it's my friends right there. And we're all talking. And they were listening to me. And they were kind of surprised me coming out with that. Because I guess all the time along, I kind of holding it back. But I was talking, we talk and discuss things. But not come out straight like that. But that was a good article, an incident, the best time to come out with it, to prove. Then they started asking me questions. Well, how do you consider yourself, people? And I told them, you must be born again, and you have to have the Holy Ghost and part of God's Spirit. And they couldn't understand that. And I tried to explain the best I could. I know I've been kind of slacking, and I finally said, okay. They said, we need a Bible. I says, you want a Bible? I said, okay. I go in my Foot Locker, and I get my Bible. I said, okay, now we're going to really get down. And we discussed all about the Ark. I told them that they even said they found the Ark up in Mount Ararat in Russia, and they didn't believe that. And I said, if they pull that out and prove the Ark, that would prove the Bible's true, because a couple of my friends didn't believe the Bible's true. They said, just a man wrote it. I told them, yeah, a man wrote it, but he was inspired of God. And then the main question that night was, how did the Egyptians build the pyramids? Now, they believe inside is some supernatural spirit or some kind of radiation solar system, something inside of in the center of the that exists up to today in the center of the pyramids, the big ones or all of them, I don't know. They say that some kind of flying saucers or cranes had to lift them rocks and pile them up there, because those rocks are 100 tons and so big, and they couldn't even, it take hundreds of years just to even make that pyramid. And even up today, they say modern man with all his equipment couldn't even make those. And it was a big discussion, and we're talking. I told them, personally, I don't care, or I don't worry about how they built the pyramids. I said, that ain't the thing. I said, when the Lord comes, I said, you better be ready. Don't worry about who built the pyramids. They said, yeah, but who built that? I said, well, I don't know. They said it had to be supernatural. And I told them what I thought. I seen an article in the National Geographic, had a good article on how they built it, but that's how man thinks, but they can't prove it. And that is an unsolved mystery today, as a lot of other things we're bringing up. And they're telling me to be about to read this book, What's God an Astronaut? They said that brings out the point and tells the truth. And this some movie or book, 2100 Odysseys, Space Odysseys, and Twilight Zone, and all these other things, trying to tell me that everything ties in, that there was flying saucers then, and that's what lifted up, and God was like a spirit. And also they said, look up the word pylon, and we got that word. We use that as a marker or some kind of thing for an airplane here, some kind of marker. Well, back then that word is derived from the Egyptian language, and they try to prove to me that it had, just because they had the word airplane, that didn't mean they had flying saucers in. I didn't agree with them. And also, I brought out water baptism. I happen to have a little brochure in my Bible I had from Oceanside. Becky them gave me water baptism. It had everything on that pamphlet. The El Cajon Church down there made it. And I just brought that out, and I proved to them. And some of them believed it, someone didn't, but they just didn't want to admit it, because they don't know too much and couldn't back up too much what they had to say. So we had a really good discussion, and there's no church around here, not that I know anyway. Being that we just came from Philippines, the Japanese law is you must be in quarantine 18 days before you have any liberty. So we can't go off base at all. And I also want to go to Tokyo and ride the fastest train called the Bullet, which goes around 180 miles an hour, and all kind of different sightseeing. This is about the end of the tape, so I'm going to turn it over and continue. I wish this tape, I would have got a 90-minute. Instead, I got a little 60-minute one. So you can flip it over when you get ready. We plan to go to Taiwan and Korea and back to Philippines, and then maybe back to Camp Hansen. I'll have 4 months, and then I'll get discharged. I'm taking a lot of pictures because a lot of my friends, they want to borrow some pictures off me. I'm charging them afterwards, make prints. Because a lot of them are going, they can take their whole tour of the Orient, and then they'll say, go back home. But somebody say, did you go, been to Korea or someplace? Yeah. So, a lot of my friends want some of my pictures and stuff, and if they go home, they will never have no proof, no pictures of where they even been. So I'm glad I got this camera, and a lot of people I seen several other cameras like mine, and they're better cameras and stuff, but I really like it, and I think I'll make use of it later on. Okay, the mail out here is really slow. It takes 4 or 5 months even to get 4 or 5 weeks rather to get some, and I've got Arlene a letter the other day also. And I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad to hear that she got healed or whatever, that tumor. I know I can imagine how silly she did act, jumping around. Sounds just like them. And it sounds like everything's going all right back home. Sounds like the family's all right. Hope everybody's working and trying to make things easier on everybody else. And I haven't heard nothing from Job and Suzanne or even Leo a letter at all. I like to just hear Lil, some kind of word of encouragement or something. Let me know what's going on, what they doing. And you don't know how it is. You're way out here in the middle of the boondocks nowhere, and all of a sudden here comes a mailman in and throws all the mail on the floor, sorts it, and then he calls out your name. I mean, it really makes you feel good. And as far as Mom, your box, as of today, I have not received it. Not today, this Sunday. I have not received a box of cookies, candies, and your 4 tapes, whatever. Also, my cassette, I could put batteries or plug-in. Right now I'm using plug-in. At night, where I stay, my Quonset don't handle plug, so I'm using an empty Quonset right now. I'm taping. I put batteries in there, and I plug in, use my earplug. And the other night, I don't know why, something just told me, all of my tapes, I got several tapes, different kind of music and stuff, because it gets pretty boring. You gotta listen to something out here. I pulled out the tape, the one Dick Granquist's brother Duke is preaching and singing, and I don't know. I just played that music especially the singing part, and it made me feel so good, and maybe almost wanted to come back home and think about the times in church and chapel and all this, and I really appreciate it. And if you get any more tapes, if you can, send them of any special speakers, and also singing. I really like the singing, and the preaching part. I don't know. I start listening halfway and I fall asleep. I don't know why I can't stay up and listen or concentrate. I don't know why, but I really enjoyed the singing part more. Also, if I can, I'll send some money. I know the Bible School has some Christian tapes, cassette tapes there. That's all I got, and I want to buy some later on, or if you can send some, I'd appreciate it, and hear some music. Everybody else got all kind of music here. Wow, music and everything, and they all got theirs loud at nighttime where they got earplugs and earphones, so don't bother anybody else. So no reason why I can play whatever I want to listen to too. And it's just something to do around here. But my 3 main letters, that girl Linda Beavers from Oceanside, I haven't received a letter from her about 3 weeks or more, so I don't know what she's doing. I just write her for somebody to write and the fun of it. And other than that, a letter from my American institution, products marketing institution, and from you folks is about my only motivation I ever get. And when I do get a letter, I really get happy, and I really like it, Some of my friends, they wrote as much as 6 letters in a week, and they write a lot of letters, and they only get 1 letter out of a month. Maybe not even that, because back home nobody even cares. They don't even write, and you feel kind of bad when you're out here. So I'd appreciate it if you could write, and I'll try write back. As far as Mom's letter and Arlene's letter, I won't write back because I'm sending this tape. I prefer tape rather than writing, if you can. But a letter here and there is all right too. But a tape is a little more realistic, and I can talk or try to explain a little more decent. Okay, Mom. Also, I want, if possible, as soon as possible, you send me the address of Aunt in India. When I get back from here, which would be about February, back to Camp Hansen, I got 4 or 5 months before I get discharged. I'm going to try to take leave. I have around 20 days or so on the books. I want to go to fly to India, and I want to go see it. The most days I can take is 14, and I can get a military hop, which would be free all the way to India, unless I land someplace that is not a military base and I have to pay, but which wouldn't be much, and I'm supposed to be trying to save some money to go there. That is my plan when I take leave. If not, I might save it when I stop by Hawaii, or I might not take it at all. And when I get discharged, I just get paid for that many days, for 20 days. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but I do want the address and Dad of any address of any people or any relatives in the Philippines that you know of. I went in American Legion, talked to a dozen or so of Filipino men, and they all talked to me, got them around me, asked me where I'm from, Stockton. They got friends in Stockton themselves, and they know about Stockton, California. And I told them I'm Filipino American, and they really liked that idea, and they talked to me, and just like I was one of them, just, they're friends right there. And they had nunchucks, and they pull them out where they're showing me, and I was practicing with them. And they asked me my last name. I told them Miraflor, and they know some people in the northern part of the island named Miraflors, and they said they had one member, his last name was Miraflor, and so I'm sure I can get some kind of contact if I get some kind of letter or something. I never did hear any answer from Uncle Abel in Okinawa, so I don't know if he's still there or if he cares to write or what. I did write to him the address she gave me. I don't know if it was right or not, and I never did hear any response. But I would like to have the address of Auntie Alice in India, and also of any relatives in the Philippine Islands I might be able to see later on. Okay, kind of skipping the subject. Tell Abel and Tom, which I'm sure listen to this tape, that tape they sent was kind of messed up. The reels inside, cheap tape. So if you use this tape, kind of test it before you talk, you folks, and then send it back with your talking. And if you do send it anything, you can send it separate, because I like to hear you talking too, or your voice is everybody what's going on. I imagine Abel and Tom doing all right, and I don't know how Tom's doing at the school or church as far as Tony. I hope he's doing all right. I would send a tape just separate to you, but I wouldn't know just with the fill in all the 30 minutes or whatever. So I figured you just listen off this tape from my family. And I know you folks enjoy hearing from me, and I enjoy hearing from you just as much as you enjoy hearing from me. So if you can, sometime send some kind of tape or something. What 4 tapes you got on its way? Well, I'll wait a while, and I'll probably answer those before you answer back from this tape, because those should be on their way, and the mail is really slow. So I'll still be waiting for that. Next month, which would be November, I'm supposed to get promoted to corporal. I'll have the rank of Lance Corporal 8 months since April in Camp Pendleton, since I got meritorious promotion. Okay, I could get meritorious promotion here to corporal, but there's a couple of sergeants and stuff that kind of got a grudge against me, and they don't like me and stuff, so I know I won't get it. Or they're the ones who submit it, but if they don't want to submit it or they don't like me, so that's just tough luck. I don't get it. But I think I could get it. I don't know if I should or not, but I know I could get it. Nothing stopping me, but they're the ones that submit it, so if they don't submit the name, I won't get it. Other than that, I should get it regularly November. It don't matter if I had to get the promotion to corporal. The requirements, you have to have 8 months of Lance, to be 8 months in grade of Lance Corporal, E3. To get E4, which is corporal, you have to wait for an order from Marine Corps, headquarters Marine Corps. You can have 12 months in grade of a Lance Corporal, and you still won't get it. You have to wait till the order. They say, we are going to promote this month 25 Lance Corporals to Corporal. Then, when they say that, then you get it. Other than that, you just wait for the word. So I might not get it in November. December 11th is my birthday, and I hope I get it around there. Either December or January, somewhere around there. But I know I'll make it before I get back. And making corporal in 2 years is pretty good. Mostly everyone hardly doesn't make it. You make it usually in 4 years or 3 years, an average person. 4 years you average make sergeant, and 3 years you average make corporal. But to make corporal in 2 years, you just had to be a little more squared away than just a regular person. I don't necessarily say I'd talk Abel into going to service, or Tom, Marines, but if they ever do get the notion or something, I would talk to them and tell them all the odds and ends. Actually, all the branch of service, they got almost the same benefits, so it just depends which one you're looking for. As far as you got college and schooling later on, but it depends if you want a rough one or not. But anything they want to know, I'll be glad to give them any information. I don't know if I told you too much about my ship. That ship I rode on, it was a LPD number 9. It was a USS Denver. Half of the ship on the top, I got pictures of it. I bought some and I took a lot of pictures. The top of it, half of it is a helicopter pad where 2 helicopters can land, but they can stack 10 helicopters on top of there. And it's really strange to watch them stack 10 helicopters on a pad that only lands 2 helicopters. And it's really amazing how them Marines and the pilots can really maneuver them birds and move them around just like it was a animal or something, and park them real nice. But I got a lot of pictures of that. Our first 3 days on there, I got sick. Out of our company, I was the only one that got sick. I threw up all over the outside the ship, and it was really a mess. I didn't get sick on the airplane. I thought I was, but I didn't. But I did get sick on that ship, and I finally got over it. And I'd want to throw out. There was nothing there, so I go eat a meal. As soon as I eat the meal, I go straight outside, look over the railing, and just threw it all out, just for something to come out of my mouth. And everybody felt sorry for me and stuff. But I don't know why they did. But I was pretty bad off, and I finally got over it. And that ship carried around 20 tanks, maybe around 30, 40 jeeps in the bottom with lower well deck, 4 Mike boats, Amtraks, trucks, 6x, 106 cannons. It can carry so much inside the hull of it in the bottom. And it's a weird ship, and I'll show you pictures when I get home. You'll see what I mean. It's the first ship I've been on so far out here, and going back, I'll probably be on another one, so it'll be completely different. I don't know how come we got to be so lucky, but not really luck. It's really shook us up. The cube where we stayed, or they call them spaces, happened to be the hatchway right above the boiler room. And the boiler room, they have to keep a hatch open at all times for emergency in case they had anything they had to jump out. And all the heat was just shooting and pouring right in our cube, in our space. And we really didn't enjoy those 7 or so days out in sea, with that heat circulating. We had air conditioning. They had air conditioning, but it couldn't fight against the heat of that steam, the boiler room. Down there, it's 150 to 125 degrees. And the Navy, they can stand. They're used to it because they're down there every day. They work down there only in 4-hour shifts because it's pretty hot down there. I had a cold one time, and I said I'll go down there, sweat it out. I stayed down there only a half hour, and everything just came out. I just sweated out, and I got over it. But I caught it again, and it was really bad. Pretty bad ride. It wasn't. The waters weren't really that rough, but I don't know. I just didn't get too used to it, but I guess I will. And of course, Marines are visitors on the ship, and that is a Navy ship, so we have to go by all their rules. And their chow wasn't too bad, and we always managed to sneak up in front of the line. Instead of waiting, you have to wait around a half hour to get the chow line. Instead, if you know somebody on the mess line, you just sneak up there and get some chow. And the Marines didn't do that much. They assaulted a beach. We went around the island. And the whole BLT, our main purpose is to go on pool activities and assaults on different beaches to prepare us for any kind of action, any war in the Far East, if anything happened. There was 54 ships out there altogether, aircraft carriers, destroyers, mine ships, everything, and they pulled the whole operation, assaulted this island. And the guns were really shooting real rounds before they landed there. And I couldn't take no pictures because nobody could go on top side of the deck. Because if you did, the guns were just blowing up real loud, and you can't hear that stuff. And they also had a couple of times general quarters, emergency. When they say general quarters, that means you go to your quarters, and everybody, all the Navy personnel, each person is in charge of a certain valve to a certain pipeline, to a certain gas line, a fuel line, to a certain hatch. Every Navy personnel has a certain spot. When they call general quarters, I mean, everybody's running around like cats and dogs without a tail, and they're just going boom, boom, all over, and they're getting their station, man stations. The guys jump on the guns on top up there, they had big 3-inch guns, and everybody knows exactly where to go, and then they're supposed to be ready in about 2-3 minutes. And one time I was out on side sleeping under a mic boat, and I heard, dan, dan. I heard that, I jumped up, I hit my head against on the bottom of the boat, and I started running out there, and I just ran down there. I was the last one in our space before they shut the door, the hatch rather. And it's really, if you're left out, you know, you'll just, I don't know what they'll do, they'll write you up or something, because when you hear that bell, you just better move. And one time we were out there, our ship, the USS Denver, was going alongside of an ocean oil tanker, fueler, where we get taken on fuel, and also cargo. And on the other side of the fueler was another ship, was taking cargo and fuel, which was on our float. Okay, all of a sudden, they're, you know, taking fuel, everything's going on right, and all of a sudden you hear the ship's horns, big old steam horns, you know, their engines, you know, real loud. And all of a sudden, everybody looking, all the sailors that were in the front and the bow, you can't go up there. Only the sailors can. No Marine can go up there. But on the other ship, they all start heading for the front, and some guys, the Navy personnel who are assigned to the guns, they jumped on the guns. There was a helicopter that was taking supplies from the other ship on the other side of the fueler to our ship. I got pictures of this, of the helicopter taking pictures from supplies from their ship to our ship. Helicopter right away dropped his load and went heading out there. There was a Russian trawler, was around, maybe 1,000 feet or so in front of our ship, was coming, trying to go in front of all 3 of our ships. I don't know if he was going to try hit us or just try to scare us or, you know, make us go off track or what. Instead, ours pumped his horn, our big, the ship's horn. And the thing started turning around. The helicopter went right over there, hoovered right above it. I don't know if we're going to pick it out of the water or blow it up or something. But they hoovered right there. And all the guns, the guys were jumped on the guns. And they were ready to blow it up out of the water. It was excitement. Everybody, they didn't know it was Russian and destroyed it until later on we heard. The next day, one of the lieutenants got flown on a helicopter to our ship to give us our pay. And he said that off of the USS... I believe it was Mobile. I forgot the name of it. I think it was Mobile. Which is a S2 intelligence ship. It's a comm ship. It's all communication straight to any, you know, where in the world, you know, get lines. Okay, one of their lieutenants, a Navy lieutenant, I don't know how, what happened, but he fell off the ship. And in the middle of the night, if you fall off, you can yell all you want, and it's so high up there, nobody will never hear you. He tread water, or he water survival from the Marine Corps Water Survival School, or a Navy Survival School rather. He tread water 16 hours, and the Russian trawler happened to come by, and they caught him, and they brought him aboard, and he was considered a prisoner of war, or anyway, a captive. So the Russians contacted the Blue Ridge. That's the name of the ship, the Blue Ridge. They talked to them and said, we got one of your officers, and about changing over, you want to change or make the trade or what. So the Blue Ridge had to contact Washington, D.C. and get the word from Washington, D.C. Then the trawler got contact with Moscow, and they were talking all over and all kind of communication. They finally gave them back. They sent a little boat out in the middle of the water. They said they can't come within 5 miles. That little Russian trawler almost hit us. And for the Blue Ridge had big guns on it. They have big 5-inch guns. It's a intelligence ship, and you don't even get near it. They wouldn't let the little trawler come within 5 miles. So they said they had to send a little ship, you know, with about 2.5 miles out there, middle ways, and we sent a little ship. So they both met out there. We gave, just as a little treat, the Russians 20 gallons of ice cream, which was kind of funny, and then they in turn gave us a case of some kind of Russian vodka. That's what the word we heard, what kind it was or how much or what, you know, exactly, precise, we don't know what it was, but that's what the lieutenant told us. And so they finally changed officers over. But that was an incident that happened that night, but the day before that, that trawler was cruising around the area. Kind of good thing he was around there, because he did find that lieutenant, but still yet he had no reason around there, and he was in international waters, and, you know, if he was trying to get... the Blue Ridge, they gave orders to shut off all equipment, any electronic equipment on the whole ship, except, you know, just a sea ballast or whatever it took to run the ship. And
or what they needed to contact Washington, D.C., because the trawler has instruments and stuff inside of it. You know, they act like they're fishing or something, but they're actually out there picking up information from our ship. And that was one incident I remember on ship. Nighttime, we used to sit out there in the ship, pitch dark, out in the middle of the ocean, nowhere. I never dreamed I'd be sitting out there in the middle of the ocean on a ship. I mean, it's a strange feeling, you know. It's like you're out in space. And lightning. I mean, continuous lightning, heat lightning, which comes from the ground. And heat lightning, there's just flashes. So I tried to get around 5 or 6 pictures of it. I don't know if they're going to turn out yet. I haven't seen them. And I left the lens open a really long time. And I don't know exactly how long to leave it, so I made experiment different time lapse. And I hope it comes out. If it don't, well, I'll just get some pictures again, because I'm sure going back we'll see the same thing. Skipping the subject again, I was just reading Arlene's letter. Smells really good, you know. I let all my friends smell it. They said, "What's her name?" You know, I said it was my sister. They thought it was my girlfriend. But and I told them, no, none of that for right now. I was just saying something about it. Some bat flying around in the house. That seems kind of strange, a bat coming in an apartment, but I don't know how. It must have come through the window or something, but I think that was quite an incident, and maybe should have kept the bat and maybe kept it in a cage to raise it, or maybe put it in some formaldehyde or something and preserve it. The bats here in Okinawa are about 2 to 3 feet wide, and if one come pick you up, you know, just say goodbye. And if I do catch one or something, catch a picture of one, or catch one alive maybe, you know, I could send it, but I doubt very much. Also, something you said, Joe and Haney got married. I didn't know they were. I thought they were getting married December, but I guess they're kind of early or something, and I think that's really great. I wish I could have been there. I remember her a long time since we came, and Jim Larson. They both were in my classes. They're, I guess, around 19 or 20. I don't know how old they are, but I think they're a good couple, and it's really good to see them get together. I hope everything's all right. Sent the girls the Japanese dolls. That wasn't too much, but that's what I promised them I'd get. As far as they wanted a watch, if they wouldn't give me money. Actually, you got to kind of specify what kind of watch you want, because there's all kinds. Japanese kind or American kind or what. It's not really that much cheaper, because you figure the cost sending and all that. I could get it just as cheap when I go back at Camp Pendleton on base. It's cheaper there. Or on base is cheap. It's as cheap as it is here. It's cheaper on base anyway than it is in civilian. Also, when I go back, I'm kind of looking into going into active reserve. Once a month, going to a meeting or something like that. If I'd be doing that for 1 year, I can extend 1 year just active reserve. I'll be living in Stockton, staying right there. And for once a weekend, or once a month, just for a weekend, I'll be going to Ruffin Radio Island and train just for 2 days. I go there 2 days, but I get paid for 4 days, which would really be around $50 to $75 a month, just from going for 2 days. So that, I don't know. I'm gonna look into it when I go back and see my recruiter, and also go on base and see what they do. Depends what they do. Also, 2 weeks in the summertime, I would go to Camp Pendleton and go for a pull for a big operation. That would be more money. I don't know, this is just on the side I'm thinking of. Yet I'm a civilian and do what I want, but yet I'm kind of in the Corps because I'm active duty. In case of any kind of emergency for anybody in the West Coast or Camp Pendleton, any kind of emergency, that'd be for the go to ward time. Who's ever on the float first would go, and all the regular Marines are ready. They're ready for active duty. Would go first before they even think about pulling the active reserve. That would be the last source. And so I'm not even worried about that. That's why I even joined the Corps and going on the Orient Nighter, because I knew I just kind of like missed the war. Not necessarily wanting to go out there, but knowing that I would miss it. They are sending a couple thousand Marines in the Mediterranean to Israel, and they're really standing by. And I have several friends who did go on a float in the Mediterranean, and they say it is really nice. They went all around Paris, London, Greece, Rome, Italy, Libya, and all around there, and they say that's a nice tour. I wish I would have gone there some other time, but I don't think I'd like to go right now because they're kind of hot. But what Marines they do send over there to the Mediterranean is from Paris Island and Camp Lejeune, which is in the east, in the middle.
states back there. That side of the states goes on that side of the world. This side goes on this side of the world, because that's the 2nd Marine Division. Out here in the Orient is 3rd Marine Division, and the 1st Marine Division in Camp Pendleton. And so that's the way that it's split up. So I wouldn't worry about it. But I am kind of serious thinking about going active reserve. I'll look into it, and yet I could be getting my schooling or all my benefits out of the Marine Corps being in my 2 years here. Also, if even Leo want me, or Job and Suzanne want me sending anything from here, from Philippines or Japan, you gotta let me know pretty quick and specify exactly, because it's kind of hard to, I don't know what to get for you. I might get something dumb or what, as far as shipping, it's not too hard. I can have it packed, or I can pack it myself really good, and which in a couple of dollars or cents I could send it home. If I do send anything home that is of mine, and I might put my name in care of, or I might put your name, but yet I might write a letter prior to that and tell you not to open it up, or just wait till I get back, because it's just my personal stuff. Because it might be some military gear or something. Maybe I might have a poncho liner or something, and if I put my name and in care of you folks, they think it's going to direct me. They know it's kind of my stuff. Then they might have it's pliable to a search, and if they open it up and catch it, well, they might take it away, or they might do something to me. So that's why if I put anything in maybe your folks' name, act like it's going to you, but yet it's for me, and it's just some extra clothes and suits I had made here. So I'll let you folks know on that, because they do X-ray and have the dogs. They X-ray everything with a metal detector, and they do have the dogs smell every piece of bag and piece of paper that comes through the mail over here in the Orient, because dope's pretty bad around here. They've busted several people already in our company, and there's no chances taken. Just going out the gate, coming in the gate one night, my friend and I from Longapo, they called us in the back room, took everything out of our pockets and searched us all over, everywhere, took off our shoes and searched us all over clothes and let us go, just, they said a daily routine. So I don't know what it was, but they did search us. Of course, I didn't have nothing. But prior to that night, I was looking at the butterfly knives, and I was thinking, I'm going to buy one. Good thing I didn't buy one. If I did, I would have put it in the bottom of my shoes, my socks, and they didn't check there. So I would have got over on them there. It's getting kind of close to the end of the tape. I don't know exactly what to say. Just think of anything can. If it does snow up here, we're supposed to have skiing, and I'll be learning how to ski and doing a lot of things in the snow, what a Marine's supposed to carry on regular training. And I hope I get around to doing some of that. Also, in Philippines, Longapo, as soon as I reached out there, I asked a lot of Filipinos about Eskrima. They know Eskrima, just the word, but they know it as Arnis Armano, or Arnis Cadena, and they not call it Eskrima. They consider Eskrima the art of stick fighting, and Kuntao the art of hand and foot, the ancient art of hand and foot fighting. I'm taking lessons now. I took for 1 week lessons from this instructor. He's a founder and director of the Filipino Karate Associations of Filipino Islands. He is the president. He personally is going to teach me Kuntao, hand-to-hand foot, and the stick. Mainly the stick. His students are going to teach me the hand-to-hand. He is mainly going to teach me the stick, because one other single student in his whole school, which consists of around 50 students or more, and all Filipinos mostly, a couple black and white, know any stick. I really know it because it's Eskrima, because I learned it in Stockton, and he knows it because he knows almost every martial art. And so I showed and demonstrated to him, and he demonstrated to me, and he called my style Plan and Rice, and he really likes it. And I really was happy to find somebody else I could practice with. Now I could spar with him, maybe. At first, when I talked to him, it sounded like probably I kind of challenged him. So he didn't particularly care for that idea of me coming up and challenging him. Actually, what I wanted was just to practice with them. And so he did show me a lot of things, and he is their main, like their father over here, everybody looks up to, and he is the main one. And I really count it a privilege to be learning him. I feel he is way more, he's real good compared to Angel. He just wiped Angel out. He's just fabulous in his style. He's got his own studio. It's an X-Theater, and they just knocked everything out. Pretty dirty inside, but, it does. I have my own and separate. I'm the only one got a different kind of karate gi.
Kun Tao gi. It's called Kun Tao. And it's same as Screama, but it's the hand-to-hand part. You don't call it Screama, you call it Kun Tao. My uniform is all red, and I paid for maybe around $6-7 for it. I got a white belt. He classified me white belt because I start from white belt and go same color as karate they got. I've been stretching and stuff, and I tell you that one day I stretched for a half hour. For 2 days after, my leg was sore. I thought I was in shape. I had nothing compared to shape to them. But yet their exercises weren't that hard. He thought I couldn't meet up to it. But I met right up to him. I did just the same thing he did. And it's just a fact of stretching. I'm not used to just come up 1 week, half hour straight stretching, you know. I'm not used to that. But I'm glad I met that man, and I'm now taking lessons. The month of Christmas I'm going to be there. I'm going to be taking lessons a lot, as much as I can down there. So I'll write you folks or talk to you on tape later on and let you know how it's going on. And anything else you want to know or anything